Yeah, why not? We're gonna go on the air. Let's check with Restream and see what's happening. Show you a little bit of how the live streaming works, if it works. So right now, basically, I'm just sending the live stream out to my YouTube, which is also here, but it's only going to YouTube. I did not send it to Facebook. I did share the link out, and this is usually right here is my big, I overlook it, and I do a double post because I will be streaming to Facebook and YouTube, and then also usually from my live console within YouTube, I will share something out to Facebook. That's what I did today, and last minute I decided to shut down Facebook along with the YouTube for the podcast. So only sending it out to my YouTube today. I will keep this YouTube up in case anybody jumps in the chat. And that being said, welcome back once again, people. Open Hours has returned. I just want to talk a little bit while I'm here working. So lend me your ear. Don't. Quite the mess. But hey, that's what we do. We do the work, right? So, some people may be going out Black Friday shopping. I understand that. And if you're one of those people and you're going to be buying, are all our cameras functioning? Alright, we got above, we got the zoom, we got right, and we got me. I got my screen. Perfect. I have the repair screen, which is plugged into nothing, and then also the guest screen, which links into this camera, and I have it set up. This camera when I have it set up for a guest. So kind of not using that. That's what we did for Daughter Returns. If you are going out Black Friday shopping and you're thinking of buying a computer, again, I want to talk about the corners being cut in the manufacturing process of these and how they can get them down to that low price. And if you're okay with buying a computer every 2 years, well then go ahead, you know. I like my computers personally to last more than, you know, at least a few years beyond the original manufacturer's warranty. We'll go to the above. I don't know how much of this you will be able to see. Okay. So let me pop the bottom back off of this thing, hopefully. It didn't get too locked on there when I there we go. It is coming off. Alright. We will set that there, and then this on top of it. So this is the entire cooling solution, actually, for excuse me, I got a sore throat today. This is the entire cooling solution. I'm trying to cut the glare on that metal right there, which is going to be kind of hard to do. There. The entire cooling solution for this laptop is here. You get an aluminum plate with a copper sticker to help, I guess that copper sticker helps pull the heat out of those parts and also lets it radiate out this way, I'm guessing, because this little bent piece of aluminum here happens to sit right where the vents are on the bottom case for the laptop. Now there's no fan, there's no anything blowing air around in there. And this, if you went through the process of upgrading and throwing an SSD into the computer, if you know how to clone your Windows, or just even totally wipe out the factory install of your Windows and put any number of SSDs in. I have this is my original Samsung SSD, 128 gig. I bought this in 2012. I've used this for many different computers, many different Windows installs, and it's still operating fine. How does it compare next to a cheaper, a brand that I haven't heard a lot about? I don't know. But I do know I've put these in a few computers and they run great. They are not near as expensive as some of the other ones, but I'm guessing that all comes down to the internals, what type of NAND, flash NAND is in there, and the read-write life cycle of it. I don't get into specs like that too much. They come with a 3-year warranty. Are they going to pay to recover your data? No, most likely not if it crashes. But what's it say back here? 15 times faster than a standard 5400 RPM hard drive. 5400 RPM hard drives. And do I have any close? 5400 RPM hard drives, typically 2.5 inches in size, are generally what you will find in most laptops. So that little tangent about hard drives. SSDs, we'll go back to our cooling solutions. So this laptop here that you're seeing suffered from premature heat death, I'm going to call it. Either the processor or the video chipset, which, looking at the stickers, I haven't torn it apart, so I'm guessing at this point. But the motherboard is bad. The processor or the video chipset, one of the two died. Most likely from coming desoldered from the motherboard from not having a proper cooling solution in place. And that's one. So we're gonna get a new motherboard for this, and actually it's pretty neat. I did a lot of research in comparing parts, comparing what screws are used for mounting the motherboard down, and you can actually upgrade this particular laptop from this Intel Celeron, I think it's an N3050 motherboard or processor. You can go from this motherboard to an actual motherboard that has your little vapor chamber heat pipe and the heat sink with the fan, and the processor will actually be a Core i3, which is, you know, a little better than the an Intel Celeron, in my opinion. I don't know many fans of the Celeron CPUs for laptops, but hey. And the only difference as far as connections on the motherboard and actual I/O ports on the side of the motherboard, everything matches up, everything is identical, except for on this computer where you are missing, you have no port here, you will have a VGA port. That's the blue monitor cable. Anybody that doesn't know, you have a VGA port to run to an external monitor, as well as your HDMI port that can run out to a monitor too. And you get an actual cooling solution. I think it's like $7.99, $8.99 for the fan, the heat sink with the heat pipe, and then the actual, I don't know what the part is that screws down over the processor. But you get an actual cooling solution, a little bit better processor. You have to use the knockout, and they have it marked out inside the case where you can knock out for the VGA port to come out the side of the case. So we're going to refurb this laptop with a new motherboard that is a Core i3, and I apologize about the glare. Got to move some of these LED lights around. Anyhow, oh, and the other bonus, like I can say that now, is you get a second RAM slot, where this one you only get one. So you get a second RAM slot, Core i3, and an actual cooling solution, and that should help the computer last more than a year or so. And this particular computer is only, I think it's a 1.5 years old, and we're froze. Let's go back to it, give it time to reset. Yeah, this computer is only about 1.5 years old, maybe like 1 year and 8 months, so it shouldn't have died yet. I just had that apart because I had it apart doing the research to find the parts for it. And now a computer that we're working on that has not died yet, but, let me say but. And this, with this setting over there, yeah, this was setting over behind me here, and, you know, picked the camera up and shot a kind of a close-up of it. This is the cooling solution for this laptop. And is it better than no cooling solution? Yes. Not something I'm inclined to trust too much, but hey, if it works, And like I said, I don't like slamming on any particular brand or big box stores in particular, but if you're going to go out and get a deal on a laptop for $199, $249, what, even $299, you know, some computers under the $350, $400 price point, you may end up with one of these laptops where you're missing a slot for your RAM, so your upgrade path is somewhat limited. You may not even be able to upgrade to the full amount of RAM that that computer could run had it had 2 RAM slots. What we have here, we do have something contacting the processor, which is the processor and also happens to be the GPU. It is in a little block of cheaply made tin. It's not even aluminum, it is tin. So you get a little tin heatsink with a fan blowing across it. Maybe it'll work. Maybe this computer doesn't need a whole lot of cooling. You know, these newer computers don't generate a lot of heat. I understand that, but they will always generate heat. And the main things that kill these computers are heat and dust. So heat and dust is what's going to do it. So we'll go ahead and see how can we give a better view of what we're doing. I did want to try and put this back together. This computer, funny enough, is not dead. And this computer was made at the end of 2016 is when it was manufactured. So this is 2 years old. This is getting on the borderline of, is it going to go or is it not? Well, we'll find out, I guess, if it comes back. So we go ahead and get this opened up. This, what I can show everybody when the camera comes up, this extends that way for about 2.5 more feet that way. That is, let me see if I can move this thing. A gigantic printer or plotter. So yeah, that's going to be fun whenever we get to that. This one was just simply a new battery, installing a new battery. And funny enough, even the corners were cut on that. That's what I was going to do the original stream about. I'm going to grab a couple of these batteries. These are typically what laptop batteries look like. And I get it, these are ones that, these go in the bottom, like outside the computer and snap in. Same with this one. So both of these type of battery actually plug in outside the laptop and, you know, user accessible without having to tear your machine down. I have another one here that this one actually goes in a different model of this particular brand laptop. This would sit inside, and then when the top and bottom case screw together, it would hold the battery in place, hold it tight to the motherboard, which is mounted down also. So, you know, we do get some plastic, and then we get a nice sticker over it, a pretty robust thick sticker. And this is what they're reducing the batteries down to now. Anybody that recognizes these is going to see that these are 18650 batteries. Lithium ion, I think. Are they lithium ion? But these are batteries that you use for vaping, e-cigarettes, like the mechanical mods. 18650s, which I happen to have some of. If I don't knock everything off my shelf, I happen to have some of them here. So has that always been what's in a laptop? Yes, that's what's been in laptop batteries for years. As to the quality of them, well, that would depend on the manufacturer of your laptop, whether it's going to be a good battery or not. Now this, you don't even get a case on it. You get a little bit of plastic with a sticker. And I mean, don't get me wrong, will it work? Probably, maybe. That's the type of battery that we actually replaced in it. Was the, you know, same thing, slightly different color, different watt-hour rating. Hopefully it will last a little longer. We're going to go ahead and put this one in. And, oh yeah, I did show you the cooling solution on this one. So yeah, whenever the motherboard sits in there, this, and they're getting substantially better with these very limited cooling solutions. It's kind of hard to see here due to the glare. Can we pull in closer to that? Maybe. Whenever this fan is sitting here, let's go ahead and unplug it. It does sit right here and has these two walls that create a channel directly under the motherboard to cool this little bit of tin that they put on there. So in the scheme of what's the cheapest way we can cool this thing to keep the price down on this for the consumer, the end user, this is marginally, I don't want to say substantially, but I want to say marginally better than, did I bump the keyboard? I must have. We'll leave it. I think I already showed that. Sorry. This is marginally better. I don't want to say substantial, marginally, than when they used to do the same thing, or just when they put a piece of metal with copper stickers or a piece of copper. Yeah, that's a little bit better, but still, longevity of laptop, I have no idea. And if another thing you notice about this, no upgrade path as far as your RAM is concerned. What you get, what you pay for when you buy it. It's soldered directly to the motherboard. And, you know, Apple does that, and other manufacturers are starting to do it. Sad to say that that's the way the world's going. I hope there's always options for people to buy stuff where you can take, and if you want, you know, 8 gigabytes of RAM in the laptop, and then you want to upgrade later to 16, or, you know, 32, going even higher, or anything in between, 24, you know, with a stick of 16 and 8, whatever. I would hope that would always be an option for people, you know, but, yeah, who knows. We're not there yet. Let's try and throw this thing back together. So yeah, safe to say, will it last? I don't know how long it will last, but it should last a little bit. It's a better cooling solution than some of the stuff I've seen lately from manufacturers. I will definitely, I can say that for sure. It's a little better than some of the stuff I have seen. Alright, unmount that, try and get the hard drive out. The mechanism they have for this CD-ROM, kind of locking the hard drive in place, and the little daughter board that the hard drive plugs into, and then they plug together with these pins. Not one of my favorite setups, and could have been done a lot easier with a ribbon cable, something. Where they used to run ribbon cables across there, I've seen wires, I've seen pin, yeah. Not a solution that I like, but hey, what do I know? Alright, tear that out, get our hard drive out of here, and get the motherboard back into place, and reassemble this computer and make it great again. Hopefully. Let me get my big head out of the way. Alright, so we need to get it aligned to some ports, and then it should plug in with little to no issue. And where are we failing right now? Display cable is out of the way. Is it the USB-C port? Which one's laughing at me? Okay, so let's unplug it and take a look. I think if we disconnect the motherboard that holds the connection for the hard drive, it may make this a tad easier. So that literally has to go in there. And then what? Wow. Not a fan, people, not a fan. At all. Alright. We are lined up. And what a connection it is. go ahead and seat our Wi-Fi card. Get our speakers plugged in, display cable, which I'm going to move this and adhere this display cable tape to the motherboard itself. So how's everybody been? I've had quite the experiment, not experiment, but quite the I don't even know what you want to call it, testing going on, figuring out issues with the sound, the recording environment down here. Not so much the soundproofing, but running down a ground loop. And all it is I need to run an entire new line. Wow, that's being a nightmare right there. So I need to run an entire new line for the power for all the studio gear. It's being pretty difficult with the if that's really plugged in, that is scary, because that's not, as far as I know, that's not how that's supposed to work. Let's take a second look at this display connector. Sorry about getting my head down in here. Just something that occasionally gotta look at stuff. So there's nothing really keeping it from plugging in. And if that's how they plugged it in from the factory, it did not look that messed up. But it's physically, one side of it is not plugging in. Why? It's just physically not plugging in. So let's stick that to the motherboard, lay the plastic over it, and find out. So we're gonna go Wi-Fi here, and I need all the screws for this thing, which are here. The board for the hard drive, and CD-ROM. So yeah, ran down a ground loop, and it's the main power line for the studio. So I need to getting around that, and that took a while to actually unwire all the recording equipment, all the stuff for the live stream, get it all disconnected, and then chase down this sound that basically, when I turned the volume up the whole way and would listen, I was hearing this awful noise, and to not have the noise there is going to be great. And basically the way to get around it is I need to run a whole new power feed from the from the breaker box out, drop down through the ceiling from somewhere, and I'm probably just going to run one line with two outlets on it, maybe two separate lines with two outlet plugs on the end or whatever. I'm not an electrician, so I'm seeking somebody to help me with that. I would like to do it to code, get everything done properly, done the right way. And that will eliminate, whenever we take and turn the volume up, whatever, which we don't, not that we need to turn it up all the way, but that's how you can really hear any noise that you have in your recording setup, is turn the volume up after you record something. Just record dead silence even, and turn the volume up all the way, and if you hear what sounds kind of like a modem dialing out but a different noise, well, then that's a ground loop with your computer. And that is literally your processor and hard drive and your RAM and all the components on the motherboard thinking. You actually hear your computer thinking. So yeah, need to get that taken care of as soon as possible. So I ran down that, and then just the sheer amount of craziness we had, and we still have. Boy, I wish I could, what's the easy way to show you people? We had an insane amount, which there should still be 2 over there on the counter at the bottom of the screen. We have 2 all-in-ones that were here for a little bit. Oh boy, you can see my other camera right in the way there. Let's do that. We'll get it out of the way. So we had those 2 all-in-ones out there on the counter that I showed you, and then we had 2 more that were from another person. I think there was like 8 all-in-one computers here, all at the same time. Some of them similar issues. Some of them had gotten hit by the update at the beginning of the month. There was the update that Microsoft pulled that was deleting users. Was it deleting their data or messing up their Windows install? I don't remember what it was. And at some point, some of this stuff just every day can seem like it's the same thing. Which that's fine, that's okay. We don't mind. Gotta get it done somehow, some way. Did we miss? Let's take a second look at that and find out. There's something that's not sitting right. And whether it is a Wi-Fi card or what. I would like to figure it out now. Why? Where the malfunction is, what's not jiving. That seems to be properly together. We'll extract that one last time. Let's lift the hard drive. Pull this cable out. So it is lining up. I never liked these pin systems. Not one bit. Just not a fan of that type of setup. So let's say you are going out to get a computer on Black Friday or for Christmas, and you want to avoid getting something that doesn't have a good cooling solution. One way you could do it, like, I'm not saying you can find info on every computer or teardowns on it. Especially the newer the product, the harder it is to find a teardown. Or if it's a new product and it's a hugely popular one, usually a lot of different YouTubers, tech reviewers, people that fix stuff will do a teardown on such a product. Like if it's new and it's a popular product for the season. That is what's not jiving. There we go. We got part of it in, but not all of it. The USB-C port is in place. What are we missing here? What is... Let's see. To me, it seems like all the battery pins line up. Everything seems to be making sense there. And it's setting where it needs to. So I'm going to say that's good. Go against my initial judgment of something was way off. Maybe it's just that little millimeter that the board moved once the port... Oh yeah, much better. Much better than the first time. Alright, let's reassemble and see. So if you're going out to buy stuff, again, and I jump around a lot, I go on tangents, I do apologize. If you are going out to buy a computer this holiday season, whether it be Christmas or Black Friday or whatever, and you want to avoid getting, and that's what threw me off. You want to avoid getting one of these computers that has, you know, they compromised hugely on the cooling for it, or they didn't include a RAM slot and you may want to upgrade it in the future. How to avoid that? Do some research online. I'm not saying I will 100% have an answer for anybody and everybody, because I wouldn't, but I do know about some of them. I check in on them, try to see, is it really a good deal, or is this, is this something I would want to get? Maybe. Oh wait, it doesn't have an actual cooling solution? Then no. Oh, it only has one RAM slot. Well, how much RAM can that slot read? Can it read 8 gigs? Okay, that's good for, a base basic computer, if you want to get 16 gigs in, is it going to read that one 16 gig stick? And then you got to pour through a bunch of forums to see anybody, have they bought this computer? Has anybody successfully, is there a confirmed it will run 16 gigs of RAM? You know? Well, I don't know. So you can do some research on it, see if it's a popular machine. Is there a YouTuber that did a teardown or review of it? Somebody else that really talked about the specs of it? Anything like that? I didn't think I dropped one. Yeah, that's one way to avoid buying into, I would say, something that is going to give you a headache later on. Just do the research, or, you know, find somebody that knows what to look for. Give us a call down here. Like I said, I can't promise you we'll have answers to every question, but we'll definitely try and help. Alright, oh, wrong size on that one. Is it this one? I think it is. And this is where there was a triangle, so it's going to be one of the bigger screws that actually mount the board in, not the ones for the Wi-Fi card and the battery. And what else do we have here? One there, one there. Is that actually through the plastic? No, it's not. So once again, we've got to lift this plastic, get under it, throw our screw in. Which, anybody that doesn't know why the plastic's there, it can hurt and it can help. If you're just going to spill a little bit, a couple drops, or a slight bit of liquid into your computer, then this stuff will mostly help. But if you plan on pouring a whole cup, a big slam, a 2 liter in there, probably not going to work. Not that you need that. You don't need soda or tea or water, anything like that in there. Keep liquids outside of computers. That doesn't help them. And there is Lenovo that you can actually take and pour water into it while it's working. And a guy on YouTube by the name of Lewis Rossman actually did a test like that of this Lenovo $1,100 computer while it's doing, I think, a Prime 95 stress test. He goes ahead and pours, I don't know how much water, a liter, something like that, a ridiculous amount of water he poured into it, and continued to type on the keyboard, open, close it, like put it to sleep, wake it up, tilting it around, and pretty much the water just poured right through it. But nonetheless, an amazing feat to see, to say the least, to see something like that. A computer that is designed to keep, either is it waterproofed, or do they have ways for water to get in there without hitting electronics? I don't know. It's still amazing to see. So check it out. I don't know what the video was called. And he does a lot of water and whatnot testing on, actually before we do that, let's check with our top case. Where's our top case for this monster? Not there. Uh-oh, people, we lost it. Where'd we put it? Alright. Could somebody point out to me where I put the top case? You? You? What about you? What do you know? Okay. Oh, that's good. Enough said. It's done. We made this one great again. Now give me a minute here. I will find this actual piece. When you put it up out of reach. Okay, so they are all through holes from the bottom. So any suspicions I had about like screws going through under the keyboard, yes, confirmed. We do not indeed have any screws going through the keyboard. So with that being said, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more screws that I would like to find homes for. 1, 2, that would not be 3. Okay, 1 is going to go there. Let's put 1 there. One there. Or do they go all the way through? Does not go all the way through, so not the proper size. We need more of a magnet to get that out. Oh, got it. Alright, there's that one. Also, I want to take this time, because I do bring up big box stores and buying computers. I don't hate them. And not saying you can't ever get a good computer from one. You can jump online in Amazon, eBay, any of the places out there. You can order a computer and end up with something that was compromised. That's something that happens with computers at a lower price point. Every computer? No. But some computers at a certain price point, and especially something that's going to be real popular for holiday sales or whatever, that's typically when they do that. Not always. You know, again, not always, but it is a thing. You were paying less for the computer because there is actually less of a computer there. Alright, and we found homes for most of those screws. That actually none go there. They do have some there, which is kind of scary if you ask me. I don't, there's not a, okay, they have a screw going through the other part, but no actual screw into that part there. Okay, call me not a fan. You have one through screw holding your LCD hinge down and one mounting screw inside, with the option of having another mounting screw. I'm not a fan. I can 100% say I am not a fan of that. So, we have two cables to put in. We can snap this together and see if this computer is going to charge again. So let's are lined up. Our power, USB-C, Ethernet, VGA, HDMI, USB 3, USB 2.0, and the combo headphone microphone jack. The webcam comes right down with the display cable, correct? Wi-Fi, speakers, processor, so we need trackpad and keyboard, and this one will be complete. Wow. Super sketchy. All right. Give me a break for one moment, people. I gotta run to the restroom, and I'll be back in a quick moment. Till then, we could let you watch the stream. We'll let you check out this awesome cooling solution for this computer here. Ah, we got sound again. Awesome. Okay. I had turned it on once and it wasn't working. And we got sound again. Alright. What a pain when you switch off both the transmitter and receiver and don't remember it. I thought I just switched off the transmitter, not the receiver side. Alright, so that out of the way, completed. Till that, get my stuff and go to work time. All screws are in except for the screws in the bottom case. We have a few ribbon cables to plug in. I'm going to go ahead and plug in the keyboard. Get the keyboard for this one plugged in, and this is going to be quite a fiasco. Not so much as the one for the trackpad. It's in quite a position, and you have literally not much room with where it comes down, and it has some weird bends in it. So let's see. Has anybody been following this stupid flat earth thing for the past, I'd say 3 or so years on YouTube and in the news? And don't tell me any of you are actually buying it. I wasn't that smart in high school, and I never took geometry or trigonometry or any of that. That was not a thing that I understood or ever wanted to really go in depth with and understand. However, in hindsight, you kind of wish I had, so I knew a little bit more about it. What is giving us problems? Oh, okay. Let me put this display cable back in where it goes. Go away. Go away, cable. I think that's it. Will it go together now? It should. Oh yeah, much better. So, yeah, I wish I had known a little bit more about geometry, trigonometry, all that stuff. But I don't. But even when somebody that does know about it can explain something simply enough to me that it makes sense, just because I don't understand it doesn't mean that I'm totally going to reject their answer on it. If I were ever in that position, not that I've ever been in that position, just saying. And that seems to be what a lot of these people do, is just simply reject what people tell them. And for, no good reason other than, oh, somebody has lied at some point in the past, so everyone's lying forever onward. From then on, they're always going to be lying. And I don't simply see that being the case. That is a very erroneous way of thinking. So we've got 2 long screws to go through where the battery was. And this is actually mounting down the battery between the bottom case and the top case. And then we have 2 more long ones that are longer than all the rest that are going to go here, and then the rest around the front. Let's go ahead and put those in. Quite a simple build on this computer, the way they designed and engineered it. I don't know. I like this brand personally. I like all brands. They all make good and bad ones. They've all got their, competition for every price point basically. So it is what it is. But if you're worried about spending $199, $200, $250, or $249, $299 on a computer, and you would like your computer to last for years and years, just do some research on it ahead of time and say, oh, well, I have the $299 or whatever it is, plus tax, and there is this computer on sale now. But doing my research, it doesn't seem so great internally. It seems like there's been compromise made from whatever reviews that I've watched or teardowns that I saw people do of it. And if I just save this money, and I understand you're not getting a great deal, but if you just save a little longer, chances are you're going to get something that will last you much, much longer when it has a real cooling solution inside. If you want to upgrade it, you can actually remove the RAM and put more in. And one RAM slot versus two, I don't really understand that, because although there is still one RAM slot and you can pull the RAM out, it can hurt your upgrade path. Like, usually that one slot will read an 8 gig stick of, you know, say DDR3. But is it going to read a 16 gig stick of DDR3? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But if you had two of them, you could definitely install two 8 gig sticks and get to that 16 gig mark. With one slot though, one RAM slot, I don't think that's a thing. Not on your average consumer level computer. Now, when you're buying a high-end $1,200, $2,200, whatever, gaming computer, or a mobile workstation, then yeah, maybe then one slot will read 16 gigs, but yeah. Not on your average little save $1 a day sale computers. So, that being said, let's flip the camera to a much crazier scene. Find the power adapter for this contraption, which it should be here. And we will see if we can get some power. Above? There it is, it came back. Hey, messy, messy workbench. Alright. Is it going to work? Is it going to charge? We don't know. First thing, we will plug it in. And we have a power light. But no... Is that a charge? Or is that a sleep? Was this thing in a sleep state? Okay, and there we go. We did get an orange light to kick on. Switch over. We do have an orange charge light, and then we have a power light. However, that is the rest of the status that we need to check. Where is the bell? Okay, so we do have power going to the system. However, I'm guessing the display cable is not plugged in. So unfortunately, this is something I'm going to have to open back up and then get that display cable to plug in 100% accurately. So for now, we're going to power down, unplug, and try and finish this up. Anyhow, that was a battery replacement on a halfway cut corner laptop. I don't really have a whole lot to go on about on this thing, but just if you are buying a computer, be careful that you don't end up with something, you know, unless you have money to take and buy a new computer every year or so. Well then, you know, just buy them up, and when you're done with them, if you're going to shoot them with guns, call me up and we'll have some fun blowing apart electronics. Aside from that, yeah, I don't know, I like my stuff to last. That's personal preference, I guess. And I'm guessing most people that work are the same way. You want your... Also, you get a computer and you kind of like it. You like the form, the function, you're used to it. That experience, sadly... Oh, there's the get it and go alarm. Sadly, that experience does not transfer from computer to computer or laptop to desktop. Not always. Sometimes it does. Most of the time it doesn't. You know, all keyboards are not equal. And yeah, the laptop experience much different than on a desktop. Still though, whether it be laptop or desktop, I've had the same desktop that I built now from 2012. And although it is not going to keep playing AAA titles for many, many, many years to come. I can safely say that from 2012 when I bought it up till 2000, late 2016, midway through 2017, basically all the way through, it did play your AAA games on low settings in later years, but usually high to medium settings the whole way through that time. So yeah, 2012 till now, that's a pretty good run for a computer, a desktop. And I didn't upgrade parts over time. No, the only thing I upgraded was the SSD. And this is that original SSD from 2012. I upgraded from one of these to a Samsung 250, Samsung Pro 250 gigabyte, and sometime soon here I'm going to upgrade to a 500 to give myself a little more storage on the computer itself. But yes, and I probably could have went and bought one of them budget holiday sale computers and put a graphics card in it. And I know a couple people that have done that, and yeah, it didn't work out so well. Nope, no thanks. I'm happy with the purchase I made. What is that, 2012 to 18, so 6 years on a desktop. I'm very, very happy with it. That being said, people, I am going to get out of here for the day. It's Friday. If you know what I do at my other job, and you're one of the people that actually orders, you may get to see me in person tonight. Or if you come to the shop, you could see me running in and out of there like a maniac also. Either way, if you are one of the people from here or there, I thank you. And my bosses thank you for, being customers. And I will hopefully see you all again tomorrow. I'm trying to deal with this hectic mess and get it somewhat more manageable. Can't wait to do this thing here. It's a printer, okay? And I know they have a fancy word for it called a plotter, but let's be realistic about this, folks. This is just a gigantic printer. Can you see that? That is like a couple feet long. It's a giant printer. Call it a plotter if you want, okay? I understand that, but come on now. It's a printer. It's just a giant printer. So hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow with either working on that or one of the things here. The all-in-one heaven has been almost all picked up but two. So when we have another situation like that, yeah, we'll do that then. As always, thank you for watching. dtcomputers.online. Check out the website. AntisocialExperience.com is the other website that I am working on little by little for the podcast that Tim, Aaron, and myself do. So if you haven't listened to that, haven't watched a live stream, and you have some free time, watch one of the live streams. Find whatever it is you use on your iPhone, iOS device, or Android for a podcast app, and think about subscribing to the audio version. I can say over time, we have cleaned up the language to be a little more family friendly with the swear words. Occasionally one does slip out here and there, and there were a lot in the beginning and not so much now. We do try to keep it on a family friendly note. So if that's something you're worried about, it is a constant thing where we try to keep it in check always. So if you listen, if you watch, thank you. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. And I will see you again hopefully tomorrow. Have a good day, people. Good weekend also.